Welcome to Savannah, Georgia, the oldest city in Georgia and one of the most haunted cities in the United States. Cobblestone streets, gas lamps flickering in the midst, and historic houses with stories that they are dying to tell. This particular story is about Honoria Foley, a widow, a businesswoman, and the woman behind a local Savannah legend. In 1889, a massive fire swept through Savannah. 7 years later, Honoria Foley, the widow of wealthy Irish immigrant Owen Foley, built her home on the ashes of a house lost in the devastating inferno. This phoenix rising out of the ashes would become the Foley House Inn, one of the first bed and breakfasts in the city. And apparently business was good. For years, customers came and they went. In fact, Mrs. Foley eventually had her widowed son and his children come move in the place too. But although countless guests spent cozy nights in the home inn, not every visitor checked out. Because in 1987, the Foley House Inn underwent renovations, which happens, every business has to do it. But as they were doing the renovations, a wall was opened up to make room for a new staircase. And what they found behind that wall stunned everyone. Behind the plaster was a human skeleton, and the unfortunate soul's remains had no doubt been behind those walls for decades. Who did the remains belong to? We don't know. There were no records, no missing persons report, just bones inside of a wall that no one knows who they belong to. But that has not stopped Savannah legend from trying to fill in the blanks. One strain of the story tells of a wealthy exporter who was in town on business who stayed at the Foley house. One night, the stranger vanished, never to be heard of again. Naturally, locals speculated that the unfortunate boarder lost his life over his money, only to have his duplicitous assailant stow his remains inside the wall. Well, that's one story. But another strain of tradition turns attention towards the involvement of Mrs. Foley herself. According to legend, a mysterious man checked into the inn sometime in the late 1800s. He was charming, but overly forward, and his interest in Honoria became obsessive. And one night, it went too far. The man made unwanted advances, so a fearful Honoria defended herself. The story goes, she struck the intruder with a candlestick. He never got back up. So terrified of what the law would say, she confided in a friend who just happened to be a carpenter and a mason. And together, they did the unthinkable. They hid the body inside the walls of the inn, and life just moved on. Honoria continued to run the inn as a respected, gracious innkeeper until her death in 1914. But on her deathbed, she reportedly whispered a chilling confession about what happened that night that she had to defend herself and how she hid the terrible secret of that night. No one believed her. People just kind of assumed it was the rambling of a woman who was facing eternity. That was until those workmen opened that wall in 1987. As you might suspect, today the Foley House Inn is a popular stop on Savannah's ghost tours because guests have reported cold spots, strange footsteps, and sightings of a man in a top hat roaming the garden. Is it all real? Who knows? But there's still some way that skeleton ended up inside of that wall nonetheless. Was Honoria Foley a victim of circumstance or something more sinister? Leave your thoughts in the comments and hit that like button and subscribe.